2025. I decided to do a live Q&A session, answer people's questions, let you know I'm alive and well, and I'm doing my thing. So I posted this to the Telegram group, asking for questions. Taking a look now to see what we have. This Q&A session is going to last approximately 30 minutes. Hopefully you can hear me well and everything works. We shall see. Okay, what do we have for questions? That one's funny. Okay, here is a question. Hold on, let me just check to make sure it's working. Okay, all right, it's working. So here we go. Let's see. I asked people to preface their questions with question. Scrolling, let's see. Yeah, okay. Okay. Question is, what is your favorite song? Yeah. Okay. Favorite song? I don't know. Lots of songs. I listen to lots of different channels. There's always some music going. Probably a good question. Okay. Scroll up some more. Okay. The question is, you said you love us and we are kind of like your family. We know time will come where you will be forced to go off the screen, full offline. Will there be no option to communicate with you like now? Well, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, gone is gone. Don't take it the wrong way. It's actually been a very let's say interesting experience. You know, Verdison went live just over 1 year ago. That's when I first introduced it to the world. Prior to that, my identity was a mystery for more than 16 years. That was, I guess you'd say, easier, because I just got to be me, live my life, do my thing. Yeah, I've been working on Fractal and Verdison for more than 12 years, but yeah, I was doing that in peace. So since Verdison came out about a year ago, and I guess announced my identity, said, "Hey, here I am." I really didn't want to do that. Seriously, it's not fun. Like, I don't really want to be on video. I don't crave the spotlight. I'm not looking for attention. But I was faced with a difficult decision, which was stay hidden, and maybe Verdison takes a long time to take off. Maybe people won't even understand Fractal and the importance of that, or reveal my identity and make a series of videos so that I can do a deep dive explanation into the tech. So, as you know, I chose to reveal myself, and we'll say that hasn't really been fun. Not at all. Oh man, just the, I don't know. People sometimes leave a lot to be desired, we'll say. And just because you know who I am doesn't mean that I should now be some target for your ideas, your schemes, your frustrations, or whatever. You know, when I created all of this, this is not the finish line. This is just what you would call a minimum viable product, meaning this is the state of affairs where we are now. Does Fractal work? Yes. Does Verdison work? Yes. Does it do everything that Bitcoin and blockchain does? Yeah, absolutely. But there's a whole lot more to the Verdison DeFi ecosystem than just being able to send currency back and forth. A lot more. So this is not the end of the path. This is, there's still, I have years worth of work to completely flesh out my entire vision. But like I said, does it work now? Yes, of course it does. Of course it does. But I have a lot more in store. Yeah, I've had to refrain from making videos for a while. It has been, well, we'll say uncomfortable. Not that I really, like I said, I don't really want to be on camera in the first place, but I do need to explain the tech and try to get people united behind the idea of what it represents, what my vision represents, because it's not really about cryptocurrency. This is about freedom, liberation from tyranny, subjugation. There's a lot, there are more bigger, much bigger concepts that have to do with my vision than just some tech. So, anyways, it hasn't been the most comfortable year for me, and nonetheless, here we are, and we're doing this Q&A session, which probably is going to go longer than 30 minutes, but anyways. Let me jump on to another question here. The question is, how are you, and how have you been doing? Well, I guess I kind of just touched on that. How am I? I'm alive and well. I'm sitting at my computer, do my work. There's been a lot of distractions in the last 2 or 3 months. Not distractions that I desired or wanted. I guess you'd say it's kind of refers back to the quadrants of productivity. So when I was a teenager, I got the whole Franklin Covey planner and time management books, trying to figure out, how can I best use my time? And one thing that always stuck with me was the quadrants of productivity. So there's 4 quadrants, and effectively it creates intersections of urgent, important, not urgent, not important. Ideally, you want to be what is considered productivity and balance, meaning you're doing things that are important but not urgent, managing your time well. But unfortunately, sometimes things pop up that I guess you say are like on fire. So sometimes there's things that are urgent and important, and they really just can't be ignored. So unfortunately, during these last 2 to 3 months, there have been so many occurrences of urgent and important and not related to me actually moving my source code forward and creating more value for all of you. I'm sorry for that. I wish these fires didn't just erupt in front of me and require my attention, but they have. Fortunately now, the good news there is that everything has really calmed down, finally. Everything's very peaceful. How am I doing? I'm feeling very peaceful, honestly, very peaceful. And I've now been able to get myself back into a nice solid routine. Yeah, it's okay. It's a 42-hour day, not like everybody else, but nonetheless, it's still a nice solid routine for me. I do my work, I do it very peacefully, and now I get to roll out more and more value for all of you. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see what else we have. Question from Ragnar. What is the deal with 100 million Verdison being transferred from a private sale wallet? How close are we to the sell function actually working? Okay, well, 100 million in Verdison, you can see in the public ledger, that didn't come from one place, that came from multiple places, and those are simple peer-to-peer transactions. That's just like all of you, is someone sending from one to another. So that's, yeah, there's no grand conspiracy there or anything really deep to read into. Yeah, somebody holds a lot, that's for sure. How close are we to the cell function actually working? Okay, yeah, I know that's been a touchy subject for everybody. You know, oh, honeypot, oh, scammer. Like, oh my gosh. Seriously, people. Seriously. I would not spend 12 years of my life plus and continue working if I was trying to steal your money. Really, it's asinine. If I wanted to do that, I mean, I created the entire industry in the first place. If I really wanted to take your money, it would take me less than an afternoon to do it with still time to go to the beach or do whatever. I would have 12 mansions, a dozen cars, and jets and planes, whatever. I would not be spending my life behind a computer in my secret laboratory, not going out, not going anywhere, not doing anything fun. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Seriously, it's ridiculous. Yeah, there's no honeypot, there's no scam. The cell function, the complication with that has been more on the, we'll say more on the legal aspect. Since I've revealed my identity, now I'm effectively a target, which is not really, that's not ideal. It's not good. It doesn't make me happy at all. I don't personally, I don't own it, control it, or otherwise. The swap site isn't even a permanent thing. It's a temporary piece of infrastructure. It's like when you make a highway, and nice brand new big highway, and then you put a bridge in the middle, and so they'll make a temporary road while the construction's underway, so people can still get from point A to point B. That's what the swap site is. It's more like it's a temporary road to allow people to get in and out of Verdison. It's not intended to be any type of exchange. That's why there's no fees. Nobody makes any money. It's completely automated and autonomous. Nonetheless, sometimes people still want to target me as a creator. So I've had to do what lawyers and attorneys have advised me to do. I'm looking forward to turning that on, for sure, because I don't want the hassles. I don't want my reputation trashed. I don't want people conspiring against me, because I'm not conspiring against you. I'm not. My pledge is for the benefit of humanity. That's it. I'm not here to make profit. If I want to make profit, like I said, that would be very simple. That would be very easy. I have taken the longest road possible if that was the plan, but it's not. It's a long-term, multi-decade endeavor to ensure that I can leave a legacy that helps all the people of the world, not hurts anybody. So hopefully that answers your question. I could ramble on for a while. Oh, here's a nice one. Where's the USDC pool? What did you do with our money? Okay. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, obviously I'm not out jet skiing with your money or chilling out on the beach. I'm sitting at my computer and I'm working. That's all I do. Sit here and work. I don't feel like being prosecuted by any country or imprisoned for anything I didn't do or otherwise. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with your money. Ridiculous. Sounds so fake. Same person. Yeah, you're awesome. How about you put your name on there instead of anonymous? 12 years my ass. Your website takes 10 days. Still shitty. Awesome. Well, for you, go ahead and make something else. Go ahead. If it's so easy, do it yourself. Because I'm pretty sure that Bitcoin in the first place, nobody else did that. And now Fractal, Verdison, nobody else did that. So you've had more than 16 years since the first iteration to come up with something better, something competing. But you haven't. So, anyways, there's always going to be haters. Always going to be haters. There's always conspiracy theories. There's always people looking for something to be wrong. Just because there's lots of scams and lots of bad people and meme coins and shit coins and everything else, cruelty in the world is not limited to the tech space. It's everywhere. And every once in a while, there is somebody who is trying to do good. So stop always looking for something to be wrong. There isn't something to be wrong all the time. It's just, anyways. Let's see what else we have. Oh, same jackass. Oh, you didn't do Bitcoin. Stop the lies. Oh, you did? Okay, cool. How about we compare source code? Jackass. Okay. Question. Personal interest. How do you manage that your body is able to stay awake that long and your brain is full? There are time until your cycle has to rest. Blah, blah, blah. Is there something that helps you stay awake? No, it's just routine. It's just been doing it for years. I did switch back to a 24-hour day for a little while. And now we're back to 42-hour day. Let's see. Trying to find a good question. Okay. Question. Earlier you stated that on advice from counsel you're limited in regard to what you could say or post. That is correct. If this is in regard to legal issues with the traders you previously named or the legal processes. Yeah, some people have definitely caused as much problems and difficulties as they were capable of. I can't explain the motivations of people sometimes. Sometimes people shoot themselves in the foot. Can't tell you. Let's see. Any book recommendations? Actually, yes. Any book recommendations heading into the future of 2025? Yeah, what was it called? Let me just look here. Yeah, the book is entitled The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. It's actually very good. It helps you understand things you can control, things you can't control, and how to act accordingly so you're not stressed out all the time. Another book that I definitely endorse is The Stoic Way of Life. And that is by, good question, Yeah, stoic way of life. Yeah, not sure who is by. Okay, question. Would you rather be remembered as a disruptor, a creator, or a ghost? Frankly, I really don't want to be remembered at all. All that I want to be remembered is what I've created. Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking for any fame or spotlight. As I said, think about, like, I don't know, Picasso or Monet or Beethoven. The first thing that probably comes to mind for you is not an image of those individuals, of those creators. What comes to mind is their works, what they did, what they created. I guess the same would be true for me. I really don't want any personal recognition whatsoever, but recognition for what I've created, sure, that would be nice. What part of your legacy would you erase if you could? Probably revealing my identity. Yeah. Okay, just reading. Oh, okay. An interesting one. How can Verdison swaps be nearly as fast as a worldwide internet? Well, technically speaking, the bounding limitation is the speed of light. An electron moves at the speed of light. So it doesn't matter what side of the Earth you're on. If you do the math, it actually takes a while, even at light speed, for light or an electron to travel from one side of the world to the other. That is part of the magic of fractal and how it works with the curves and dimensions, segments, particles, as well as the hive workers, which is called a neural compute unit. There's a primary, secondary, tertiary, and sometimes a quaternary. Sometimes. If you minimize the amount of distance that you need to travel, you can save time. That's about all the hint I'm going to give you, but yeah, haters really, you actually just make me laugh. You're really just stupid humans. So, yeah, keep hating away. It's actually good for my spirit. gives me some entertainment, I guess, when I'm trying to answer actual questions. What country will be the first to use Verdison? Ooh, I can't answer that one. I'd like to, but I can't. Um, Not because I'm in the dark, but we'll just say I can't answer that right now. Here's a good question. What was a defining moment when you saw the beauty in a simple solution? Well, the answers to virtually all questions, technical aspects, they exist in nature. If you look closely, if you're an objective observer and you really pay attention, the answers are always out there. Look at the universe, okay? Physics. So it's almost 14 billion years that the universe has been expanding and developing. And now we have life, we have creation, we have nature, we have all these amazing things. In that period of time, the answers have already been made. They've already been discovered. They have already been created. So, fractal, my inspiration for that came from nature. There are fractals in nature everywhere. It's a pattern of efficiency that allows for both decentralization and infinite growth, infinite scaling. So once again, if you just pay attention to what you see in everyday life, a lot of times what exists in the universe, what exists in physics, what exists in nature, the answers have already been discovered. You just need to pay attention. So how can you apply those existing answers to something that exists in the technical space? All right, let's see what else we have. I found a Verdison Reddit account created July 2009. Was Verdison worked on earlier than 2012? Yes. Yes, it was. Let's see what else we have. Okay. Yeah. People want to know what happened to previous associates. Well, I really shouldn't speak about that. I don't need to say anything negative about people, and it's really not. It's not important to my priorities. Certainly not. My priorities are moving the tech forward, delivering features, delivering functionality, and making people happy, moving in the right direction. Some of us have Raspberry Pi 5 hardware and would like to join. Okay, sounds good. That opportunity will be coming up shortly. It really will. Now, in addition to the Raspberry Pi, because that's an ARM64 processor, that the code stack is also being done on the Intel side as well, not just ARM64. Any computer with an Intel processor can be used as a hive worker. It's not all small devices. It's just that is the least common denominator. That's all that's required, but there's a lot more powerful computers, like my computer, for example, that also functions as a hive worker, and that is 128 cores with 2 terabytes of RAM. So big difference. So there's a whole spectrum. Any computer. Let's see. Okay, well, Captain Hater, yeah, man, I guess you need to find a job or something, find a hobby, find some happiness in your life. Jeez, this is ridiculous. Oh, let's see if we have any other valid questions here. What is the biggest challenge you face at the moment? Yeah, the biggest challenge I face at this moment is deciding what I can say, what I can share with people, and what I can't. Sometimes I have to walk right on the edge of a razor, trying to not go too far this way, not go too far that way. Yes, I can't make everyone happy all of the time, but I also need to ensure that what I've created continues to evolve. I'm able to continue working on it, and that the ecosystem as a whole becomes better and stronger for everyone. Let's see. That's awesome. Uh, okay. Question is, how are wallet numbers lower than the listed total CryptoCase wallets? Well, actually, the wallet numbers are in ranges, in blocks. So there are blocks that are higher than what you see. There's also blocks that are lower. So it didn't just go sequentially starting at 1 and then end up at 160 something thousand. Based upon the type of crypto case, who the individual entity is, and what it's used for, there's different ranges of numbering. So, yeah. Question: have you met Steve Jobs or Bill Gates? No, definitely not. Let's see. Question: you posted a video with the opening has been made. I think it was actually the opening moves. There's a book to see in there. What is the name of that book? Well, I think, yeah, that's the Theory of Money and Credit. Yeah, Brian Tracy, he's fabulous. Okay, question. What is displayed on the TV behind you? It's kind of off at the moment, I think. Okay. Question, can you share any general developments with governments and or large corporate bodies? Oh, I wish I could share. I really do. Oh, I wish I could share. I have to say no comment right now, but that's a very good question. Question, have any governments bought Verdison? Once again, I can't answer that. I would like to, but I can't. Let's see. Question. If Bitcoin fixed the broken money and Verdison fixes Bitcoin, what exactly does Verdison restore in human civilization that Bitcoin couldn't? And is that restoration a return or a leap? Bitcoin was just a proof of concept. It was a starting point. I mean, frankly speaking, crypto 1.0, as they call it, is too complicated, too difficult, and too cumbersome for the general population to understand. And on top of that, it is no longer a medium of exchange, but really just a store of value. Buying Bitcoin doesn't serve as money anymore. It serves as a way to hedge against inflation, to try to protect money that you already have without it being diluted by governments who keep printing more money and diluting the supply. Because once again, nobody has control over the quantity, the supply of Bitcoin. Verdison goes much further than that because Verdison is easy for people to understand. So instead of, like, the current crypto market is, I don't know the exact number, let's just say 100 million users. Well, Verdison is accessible and understandable by billions of possible users. People understand how they use money now, whether that is cash, paper money, or debit cards, credit cards, and otherwise. So Verdison doesn't require a learning curve. Bitcoin did. The idea of, oh, how much does that cost? Oh, 0.0000012 Bitcoin. Those aren't numbers that people are accustomed to dealing with. So once again, you have to re-educate the population, and that's a waste of time. That's like, throwing rocks into the ocean. Nothing's going to happen. So Verdison uses denominations and amounts that are normal for what people are accustomed to. And people can use it in the same way that they do other money in their daily life. So it does that, but it does it in a way where there is no inflation. The supply is protected. So the amount of money someone earns today, if it's in Verdison, it's going to be worth the same amount tomorrow, next year, 10 years, 50 years from now, 100 years. There's no inflation whatsoever. Good question. Question, are there any legal issues holding back sales of VFN, Fractal, and open auto sell of Verdison? Yes. Legal issues, yes. Nothing tragic or anything like that. It's more a nuisance, I guess you'd say. It's more of a nuisance, but at the same time, I really don't need to expose myself to additional risk or be any more of a target than I already am. So as I said earlier in this broadcast, things have calmed down a lot. If it hadn't, I wouldn't be making this Q&A live stream right now. Question, what limitation holds you back the most? Well, that's either how much time in a day. There's never enough time. That holds me back. Dealing with nuisances. That holds me back. Yeah, things that take me out of the, once again, quadrants of productivity, things that take me out of productivity and balance into important and urgent. Things that are on fire. That holds me back. Question, how will you keep governments and corporations from monopolizing Verdison? Well, it's actually a very good question. Anyone is open and free to purchase, trade, hold, sell, and otherwise Verdison. The idea is it's anonymous. So how would you even know who's actually holding it unless they disclose that themselves? Okay. Yeah. Well, I do have the ability to release a couple of videos, which I'm going to be doing shortly, that covers some more of the deep dive into the tech, particularly about the crypto case and the transaction signing process. As it stands right now, the self-custody models, some are implemented, some aren't yet. That's part of Vertisan Year 2, is implementation of all the different custody models for the private keys required to sign a transaction. But there's a lot more going on with a transaction powered by Fractal than there is with blockchain. I was actually making some notes on the board to talk about exactly that. Bitcoin and blockchain is very simple when it comes to a transaction. The idea is you have a transaction, within that you have public key for who you are sending it to, public key from the originator. There's a SHA-256 hash, and then a digital signature, which is uses the private key to then sign the message, to sign the transaction. That's how the transactions are chained together. It's not rocket science. It's not, you know, it's really pretty simple. But with Fractal, it's a lot more sophisticated because a crypto case, a digital asset storage container, can have multiple partitions. And those partitions, each one, whether that's a wallet for cryptocurrency, which holds a balance, or if it's a partition that holds individual digital assets, nonetheless, there's still lots of partitions. And each one of those partitions also has an escrow partition attached to it. So when something is sent, it doesn't just, boom, end up in the destination. It goes into escrow first. There's a two-phase commit. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and when everything's done, it moves from the escrow into the destination partition. So, on top of that, CryptoCase partitions, and the CryptoCase itself has role-based access control, which means it's not just one public-private key pair that signs a transaction and sends it off like Bitcoin. Maybe it's you have the ownership rights and you have the permissions to send for one partition. Maybe you grant the ability to sign a transaction and to send from another partition to a family member or your banker or somebody that does investments for you, so on and so forth. So there's actually a collection of key pairs that are applicable with roles and permissions for each partition, each wallet within a crypto case. And then on top of that, Fractal supports universal transactions, which means you can send from any instance of Fractal worldwide any digital asset to any destination. So you also have the network itself. So the network, the crypto case, the partitions, both private key pairs, and the fact that the crypto case is, for lack of a better term, atomized, dissected, atomized, and spread out storage-wise into particles spread all around Fractal. So there is no one single target for anyone to go after. So upon transaction signing, yes, it needs to reconstitute and then execute. So maybe this is a little bit more like rocket science, but Bitcoin and blockchain, not. Pretty simple. So, anyways, let's see. Oh, okay. Well, apparently it's been 43 minutes that I've been rambling on. So I guess I will probably wrap it up there. I'll do one last question. 4th of July, is that still the day that Liberty Dollars lottery starts? Yes, that is correct. So, let's see. Well, nonetheless, thank you for watching. I am Satoshi, and I hope that we are all united in this effort, in this movement. Anyways, what else do I have to say? One last thing to say. This one's important. Trust your riches unto the phoenix before the dawn. I'm Satoshi.